This is the fifth major bombing in Turkey in the past 8 months. Before then, there had been no major attack for 2 years. In July last year, 34 people were killed in the mainly Kurdish town of Suric, close to the border with Syria. Turkish officials blamed Islamic State, but Kurdish activists accused the Turkish government of complicity. In October, IS targeted another Kurdish event, killing more than 100 people at a peace rally in Ankara. Then, in January, a suicide bomber linked to Islamic State blew himself up near a group of German tourists in Sultanahmet, which is in Istanbul, killing 11 of them. A month later, a bombing targeted a convoy of military buses in Ankara. The authorities blame Kurdish groups angry at Turkey's attacks on their bases in the east of the country. So this latest bombing in the capital appears to have targeted civilians, and once again, as I've mentioned, the Turkish government accusing Kurdish militants of being responsible. Let's get more now from Sheriff Ishla, who is from BBC Turkish, and talk about who could have been responsible if it was indeed Kurdish militants. In the past, we've seen their attacks mostly on the military in the southeast. Yes. This would be a major change of tactics, wouldn't it?
The location where they struck, if I can explain the geography of Ankara. Ankara is a city that is not built in circles, but rather are two lines. It's a linear city. So you have one boulevard intersecting another one, and that's how the city is built. And this place that they struck is right at that intersection. It's the busiest part of the city. And there's always a police presence there because ever since the 2013 protests in Turkey, anyone who wants to protest a certain thing will usually gather around that area. So it could very well be that these attackers were targeting the police presence, the usually heavy police presence in the area.
We've seen no claim of responsibility yet, though, have we?
That's the thing. So it's very difficult and also not really possible to speculate as to who's behind it, because even in the previous attacks, there would be speculations and usually claims would filter through, and you were never really sure how to confirm it. It was only the very recent attack about a month ago that the government blamed on the PKK organization. But then another Kurdish group claimed it, and the government didn't really believe the other claims. So it's a bit of a quagmire.
But Shahadi there just giving us quite a few details from the government about this female suicide bomber. They say she is a member of the PKK.
Yes, that is true, and the government is saying that. However, we're still waiting for an official statement on the other details. I think
I'm wondering how Turks are feeling at the moment. President Erdogan coming out with very harsh and hard words, but trying to reassure people that he can maintain security. It's not just the Turks he's reassuring, it's his NATO allies as well. And it's a very difficult time right now for the country.
Yes, because Turkey is facing several threats from several fronts. Turkey has been a vocal critic of Bashar al-Assad, is also in the coalition against the fight against the so-called Islamic State, but at the same time is fighting an insurgency, a Kurdish insurgency in the southeast. And this attack is taking place in the capital city of not only a NATO member country, but also a European Union candidate country. So it's a very key country that had for the longest time been seen as this island of stability in a very volatile Middle East. All of a sudden, the security situation has gotten very bad.